Deep within the scrolls of ancient scriptures we find a haunting melody, a raw and powerful psalm that echoes through time. This melody, though ancient, resonates with the timeless human experience of suffering and hope. It is a song that transcends generations, speaking to the core of our shared humanity. Psalm 69, attributed to King David, plunges us into the depths of human despair, capturing the essence of a soul in turmoil. It is a vivid portrayal of a man grappling with the weight of his burdens, seeking solace in the midst of chaos. A visceral cry for help from a soul drowning in sorrow, this psalm is a raw expression of pain and longing. It is a desperate plea for deliverance, a cry that reverberates through the ages, touching the hearts of all who hear it. It is a song born of anguish, a testament to the fragility of the human spirit when confronted with overwhelming adversity. The words of the psalm paint a picture of a man at the end of his rope, clinging to the hope that he is not alone in his suffering. Imagine, if you will, David, the young shepherd who would become king, facing betrayal, false accusations, and the relentless attacks of his enemies. His journey from the pastoral fields to the throne is fraught with challenges that test his faith and resolve. His world, once filled with the music of nature and the promise of a divine destiny, is now shrouded in darkness. The vibrant colors of his youth have faded, replaced by the shadows of doubt and fear. He feels abandoned, lost in a sea of troubles, his voice a desperate plea for salvation. The stormy seas symbolize the tumultuous emotions that rage within him, threatening to pull him under. This psalm is not a detached theological treatise, but a raw, unfiltered outpouring of emotion. It is a window into the soul of a man who is unafraid to bear his deepest fears and hopes. It is a testament to the human capacity for both profound suffering and unwavering faith. Despite the darkness that surrounds him, David's faith remains a beacon of light, guiding him through the storm. It is a song for anyone who has ever felt lost, alone, and overwhelmed by life's storms, a reminder that we are not alone in our struggles. The psalm speaks to the universal experience of seeking hope in the face of despair, reminding us that even in our darkest moments, we are not beyond the reach of divine grace. The light breaking through the clouds symbolizes the hope and peace that can be found, even in the midst of our deepest sorrows. David's words paint a vivid picture of his despair. "Save me, O God," he implores, "for the waters have come up to my neck." We see him sinking in a metaphorical mire, the waves of affliction crashing over him, threatening to pull him under. This is not a gentle rain, but a raging torrent, a symbol of the overwhelming nature of his troubles. "I sink in deep mire, where there is no foothold. I've come into deep waters, and the flood sweeps over me," he cries out. His words are heavy with exhaustion, each syllable a struggle to utter. We feel the weight of his despair, the suffocating grip of hopelessness that threatens to consume him. He describes himself as weary with crying, his throat parched, his eyes failing as he waits for God. Every fiber of his being is strained to the breaking point, his physical and emotional reserves utterly depleted. Yet even in this state of utter desolation, a flicker of hope remains. David's troubles are not merely physical or circumstantial. He is also burdened by false accusations and the scorn of his enemies. "More in number than the hairs of my head are those who hate me without cause," he laments, his words echoing the pain of betrayal and injustice. He is mocked, ridiculed, and slandered. Those who should stand by him have turned against him, their laughter a searing wound to his already broken spirit. The pain of their betrayal is palpable, a bitter poison that adds to his anguish. "They repay me evil for good, they are bent on my ruin," he cries out, his voice thick with despair. He has become a stranger to his own people, an outcast in the very place he should find solace and support. The injustice of it all claws at his soul, compounding his misery. Throughout this agonizing psalm, we hear David's desperate plea for deliverance. "Make haste to help me, O Lord, my salvation," he cries out, his words a lifeline thrown towards heaven. He knows that only God can rescue him from this abyss of despair. Only divine intervention can calm the storm raging around him. His faith, though tested, has not been extinguished. He clings to the belief that God sees his suffering, hears his cries, and will, in his time, deliver him from this pit of despair. This hope, however faint, is what keeps him afloat amidst the tumultuous waves of adversity. He acknowledges his own failings, confessing his sins and asking for forgiveness. He knows that he is not perfect, that he has stumbled and fallen short of God's glory. Yet he also knows that God is merciful and compassionate, always ready to forgive those who turn to him with contrite hearts. Section 5. The Sting of Betrayal. One of the most poignant aspects of Psalm 69 is the raw emotions stemming from betrayal. The psalmist David pours out his heart, revealing the depth of his anguish and the intensity of his sorrow. His words are not just a cry for help, but a testament to the profound impact of being let down by those he trusted the most. David cries out, "For it is not an enemy who taunts me, then I could bear it." His lament is a powerful reminder that the wounds inflicted by friends and loved ones cut deeper than those from foes. "It is not an adversary who deals insolently with me, then I could hide from him." The pain of betrayal is magnified when it comes from someone within our inner circle, someone we believed would stand by us through thick and thin. His words reveal the deep wound inflicted by those closest to him. The sense of betrayal is palpable, a visceral ache that resonates through the ages. To be betrayed by an enemy is one thing, a painful blow, but one that is expected in the harsh realities of life. But expected in the game of power and politics. In such arenas, betrayal is almost a given, a calculated risk that one takes. But to be mocked, ridiculed, and rejected by those who should be allies, those who should offer support and understanding, is a different kind of pain altogether. Confidants, even family, cuts to the core of his being. The betrayal by loved ones leaves scars that are not easily healed. This betrayal adds a layer of loneliness and isolation to his suffering. It is a solitude that is felt deeply, a reminder of the fragility of human relationships. It is a pain that resonates with anyone who has ever felt the sting of a friend's betrayal, the heartbreak of trust shattered by those we hold dear. The sense of loss is profound, a void that is hard to fill. The heartbreak of trust shattered by those we hold dear. It is a reminder that trust, once broken, is difficult to rebuild. It is a reminder that sometimes our deepest wounds are inflicted, not by our enemies, but by those we allow closest to our hearts. The pain of betrayal is a universal experience, one that binds us together in our shared humanity, but by those we allow closest to our hearts. In the end, it is the betrayal by loved ones that teaches us the most about resilience, forgiveness, and the strength of the human spirit. David's plea for deliverance is not driven solely by a desire for personal comfort or escape from suffering. He also yearns for vindication, for God to silence his accusers and reveal the truth of his innocence. "Let their own shame return upon the heads of those who seek my hurt," he implores. He knows that only God can truly judge the hearts of men, that human justice is often flawed and biased. He trusts that in God's time, the truth will be revealed and his name will be cleared. This desire for vindication is not rooted in a spirit of vengeance, but a longing for a righteousness to prevail. He understands that his suffering is not in vain. He believes that God can use even the most painful experiences for good, that his trials can be a testament to God's faithfulness and power. This unwavering faith in God's ultimate justice gives him the strength to endure even the most unbearable circumstances. Despite the overwhelming sense of despair that permeates Psalm 69, there is a glimmer of hope that shines through the darkness. Like a tiny seed pushing through the cracks in a barren land, David's faith in God's unwavering love and justice refuses to be extinguished. "But I am afflicted and in pain. Let your salvation, O God, set me on high," he declares. His words are testament to the enduring power of hope. He knows that even in his darkest hour, God is with him, that even in the depths of his despair, he is not beyond the reach of God's love. This hope is not a naive optimism or a denial of his very real suffering. It is a deep-seated trust in God's character, a conviction that even though weeping may endure for a night, joy comes in the morning. It is this hope that sustains him, giving him the strength to face another day, to cling to the belief that deliverance will come. Psalm 69 does not end on a note of despair. Instead, it culminates in a powerful declaration of faith and a glimpse of the redemption that awaits those who trust in God. For he delivers the needy when he calls the poor, and him who has no helper, David proclaims, his voice regaining its strength. This is not just a message of personal hope for David, it is a universal truth, a promise that God hears the cries of all who call upon him, that he is a refuge for the oppressed, a defender of the weak, and a deliverer of those who put their trust in him. The psalm concludes with a song of praise, a joyful declaration that God will save Zion and build up the cities of Judah. This vision of restoration extends beyond David's personal circumstances to encompass the well-being of his people, a reminder that God's love and faithfulness extend to all generations. Across the millennia, the words of Psalm 69 continue to resonate with people from all walks of life. This ancient text, penned by King David, has transcended time and culture, speaking to the universal human condition. It is a timeless expression of the human experience of suffering, despair, and hope. The psalm captures the raw emotions that we all feel at some point in our lives, whether we are facing personal trials or witnessing the suffering of others. Its raw honesty and emotional depth remind us that we are not alone in our pain, that even the greatest heroes of faith faced moments of doubt, fear, and anguish. These words have provided solace to countless individuals, offering a sense of solidarity and understanding. More importantly, this psalm reminds us that even in our darkest moments, God is with us. It reassures us that divine presence is not distant or indifferent, but intimately aware of our struggles and sorrows. He hears our cries, sees our tears, and longs to deliver us from our troubles. The psalmist's plea for rescue and redemption echoes our own deepest desires for relief and peace. When we feel overwhelmed by life's storms, when we are drowning in despair, we can turn to this psalm as a source of comfort and encouragement. It serves as a reminder that we are not abandoned and that there is hope even in the most turbulent times. Like David, we can pour out our hearts to God, expressing our pain, our fears, and our deepest longings. This act of vulnerability and faith can be a powerful step towards healing and restoration. And like David, we can cling to the hope that even in the midst of our suffering, God is working all things together for good, and that one day He will wipe away every tear from our eyes. This promise of ultimate redemption and peace is a beacon of light for all who are weary and burdened.